Hello, I'm Otto, and welcome to episode 11 of my Factorio Post-Nauvis guide. So in the last episode, we made this structure for removing the stone from our molten iron, and molten copper setups. And then with that stone, we will be collecting some concrete and some reinforced concrete, and the rest of it will just be tossed. So in this episode, we are going to set up some tungsten carbide, a little bit bigger build, now that we're out of our little starter base section over here. Yeah, so if you remember, we need some carbon and we need some tungsten ore. These are the two solids that we're going to be bringing in, as well as some sulfuric acid. So the way that we're going to do that is we're actually going to do this a little different than we might normally. We are going to, okay, so first let's look at some of the ratios. So for tungsten carbide, we need 1.25 carbon per second and 2.5 tungsten ore per second to produce 1.25 tungsten carbide per second. For the carbon, we can produce 1 per second from 2 coal per second. Whew. So we are going to make these basically kind of line up. I'm going to set up a very weird little setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to have something kind of like this. And this is going to get a little bit of a boost. Let me go into map view so I can easily add a module. We're going to give this guy one speed module. So once that shows up, you're going to see that this is going to take the the 1 per second, and the speed module is going to increase this to 1.3, I think it's 1.29 per second, which will kind of match the 1.25. So we're going to have this be 1-to-1, and then we're going to bring in some sulfuric acid here, and the carbon can go into the building to be produced here. Yeah, 1.29 per second. Kind of odd. It's supposed to be 30% increase. I guess this isn't, I don't know, 100% exactly a 1 second craft speed, or yeah, whatever. I don't know. Anyways, so we are going to take this and we are going to copy this 6 times, and this is going to be our build. We do need to leave some space up front because we kind of need 2 belts coming in. We're going to need, I need to push this off to the side or something. Yeah, it's going to be a little tight. Let's just put it that way. So we're going to have belts coming in this way, and we're going to have belts leaving. I think I went too far. Let's push this a little bit more, because we are going to have an export. Whichever one is, okay, the smaller one needs to be the red inserter. We are going to have another build coming in for the tungsten. Power is going to be fun. Let's just that's going to be loads and loads of fun. Okay, so we need to make, we're going to make 18 of each of these. 18, I believe, is going to give us a full belt of basically anything that's 2.5. So the tungsten ore here is going to be a full belt. consuming a full belt, I should say. And we're not going to really make this expandable. We're just kind of going to leave it the way it is. If we wanted to, we could add some productivity modules later, and I think that was maybe the intent of how, like, why they set up the ratios the way they did for this. But we're going to be bringing in tungsten carbide on this line. I took off my constant combinator, and now I don't know. Now it's more difficult for me to go through and hunt and find it. Okay. And then coal's going to be on this line. So we're just going to split that one off. Coal will be able to come through here and split off. So both of these need sulfuric acid, so we need to get some sulfuric acid in as well. Oh, nope, not that one. This. Okay, so that's going to cover our carbon, which we're getting from here. The tungsten ore, which we are getting from the inside line. The output is going to be out here. And then the coal will come in here. Power is going to be an issue. But we can kind of split it up. So we can have... Oh boy. Okay, so the downside of this is we're going to flip this, and it is not going to work with both sides. But you know what? As usual, it is what it is. Not a big deal. We can probably just supplement one side with those power poles. And squeeze these in like this. Okay, so let's copy. Leaving the other belts out of the way, and V to vertically flip. The power poles are not going to line up. That's fine. And now we can get this guy over. We can bring in the sulfuric acid. Okay, so I said we were going to get 18, so we need one more. Oh, that's going to be a problem. Nope, it's going to be fine. We have solved this problem before by using an underground belt. Otherwise, this would try to put the tungsten ore onto the tungsten carbide belt. We're going to also have to... Okay, yep, I just noticed. We're going to have to flip the... One of these is going to be bringing in tungsten ore, so let's say this one. And one of them is going to be outputting, so these need to be flipped. And that should be good. Okay, and that is our tungsten carbide. So we need to, well, for starters, I had tungsten steel on. Wait, what? What did I do? Okay, this was completely backwards from what I was initially intending, but you know what? That's perfectly fine. We're just gonna... We're gonna flip those. And that lines up exactly how I want it. Okay, perfect. So I want this line to be the tungsten carbide. And we are going to branch it. I really should just allow this to be dedicated. No, I do have to allow it to be dedicated because this is going to be in the way of the tungsten carbide. There. So that is going to be a dedicated line. And if we needed more in the future, which we almost certainly will, and I can explain that in a minute, we will probably just belt it in from here. As much of a pain as that might be, I was looking around the map and I was like, okay, a lot of the ones that we have available are not exactly in the best place to be mining with a train. Like these are on the opposite side. These are good ones too. Like I would love to be able to get in here, but we have all this lava. We could probably manually drag some trains through some of these areas. For instance, to get this one, we could just set something up manually over here. You know what? I don't know. At the end of the day, I would probably just rather have some built spaghetti coming in from these two. There are other areas as well. There's a clear opening up this way. And I believe if we can scooch across here, there's a clear opening up here as well. It's been a while since I've kind of delved in. Anyways, let's get some coal in here. I guess I didn't really state, but so if you remember from our novice guide, we when we took things off the belt, we took it off the top row first and then condensed everything towards the top row. We're not going to be only using one side of the belt, but we are still going to be condensing things to the top, which is literally probably only an issue whenever it comes to the coal and the green circuits. So yeah, not even really that big of a deal. So I'm going to branch this. I'm going to step it back one. This is going to go over. That is not how I did this. Okay, so this goes through, and then this will have a priority output left. This will have a priority output right, and be allowed to pass through. Yep. It's a lot easier to think about when there's like, I don't know, 6 belts of it, but whatever. Okay, and then sulfuric acid. This will be exported into the same location that it came from, and will be allowed to continue on down through here. At some point, probably here, actually. Man, this thing is just barely... These poles are just barely out of range. We're gonna start collecting the tungsten carbide to be able to have for later. We don't need that. Oh, wait a minute. We need it for something else later. So we're just gonna intentionally limit this. I don't think we're going to be deleting any more like items. Like the bots won't have to put this back in, so I'm not going to limit it with wiring. We're just going to manually limit this. You know what? Screw it. Before we really even need it, it's going to fill up and stay filled up for a bit. So we'll just leave it. How about that? Okay, so let's actually see. I've 15 minutes. Let's see if we can squeeze in the tungsten steel. This one's going to be super easy. We can probably do 5 of these. How many does this output? 0.6. I do 5 of these? Yeah, sure, I guess that'll work. Bring in one or bring this one out. Okay, so we need tungsten ore in. Oh, this is gonna be fun. And same with the tungsten carbide. This is going to be the end of the line. So, I suppose, since we don't have to do anything funky, I probably could just jump this over everything and then we're good. Once we export it, there, that was easy. We need power. And I need to leave room for an inserter. This is going to be a weird one. Oh, maybe not. Okay, inserters, bringing stuff in. Yeah, sure. Everybody's going to be covered. And then putting out. Jeez, these machines are so massive. Everybody's covered. Everybody's covered there. Tungsten ore is coming in this way. You know, in the right direction. I didn't even do the math. We need 1.6 per second. And that's going to be 32. We could add another one of these. That'll get us to, oh, what's that off the top of my 48? And that will consume most of a full belt. 10, 20, 30, 1.6 times 30 is 40, yeah, 48. Okay, so we have now gotten a lot closer to being caught up to where we were in the starter base, just with much bigger builds, much nicer, cleaner looking. Oh, it feels good to be back in my element. It feels like it's been so long since we've had builds like these. Get to flex my... Wait a minute. Whoa, 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 whoa. This was... Okay, this was output. I guess we could finish by... Let's just not put it back on the belt. You know, let's just leave it back here. Nope. We will also be collecting this. Oh, really? It's okay. I'm intentionally leaving this back. Like, if for some reason this were to be, and this is just kind of a way of thinking and not necessarily like a rule or this is definitely going to happen or anything like that. If for some reason the left side of this belt were to be consumed way faster than the right, having a section with a splitter gives you the option to do a side loader. So I don't want to block that. So we're going to have this off to the side. And he can just fill right up. Bro, this thing didn't attach to anything. Look at, like, I'm so done with the red and green wiring. Yep, I'm over it. Future Auto here. While I was editing the video, I kind of realized I made some mistakes, so I'm just going to jump in here real quick and fix that. So we needed to actually jump this across. I did kind of do that already, but whatever. And for all of these. I also realized that I did not set up the pipes, so thankfully we can just work around the roboports. I don't normally include the roboports in my blueprints, but I am going to make an exception this time. Whoops. Why is that still on my bar? We don't need that. Okay, this is molten iron. I also noticed that, wow, I have no coal coming in here. That's kind of odd. I also forgot to set this up. All of this will be fine in the blueprint. That needs to be connected. Yeah, so what happened was I did not set up any balancers for the coal. And actually, I did not do it for the tungsten either. So yeah, this is why we have balancers, is so that things can be offloaded. Nah, well, if one side gets heavy. Anyways. Yeah, back to the video. No more red and green wiring. We're just gonna eat the radar cost. The stupid, expensive, what is it? 300 kilowatts. Yes. Definitely gonna be worth it not having that hassle. Anyways, 22 minutes. Okay, so that is gonna be it for me for this episode. If you have been enjoying my content, well, you know what to do. And if you would like access to my blueprints, join the Discord. I give them away freely. In the next episode, we are going to... I think we should make some green circuits. We need some... We have molten iron and molten copper. Oof. I've got lava back to here, so I can't put green circuits anywhere here. So I would have to put them here. Maybe we will do oil products down here. Okay, anyways, that is going to be it for me for this episode. I will see you in the next episode, and thanks for watching.